All right, good evening, everyone, and I now call to order the regular meeting of the City Council and Housing Authority for Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. Now, we're going to, don't do it yet because I have some instructions. We're going to stand up and sing the national anthem, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. But because we have a boys team and a girls team, we're going to sing this together, and I know we'll have really good harmony because we have the low voices and the high voices. So everybody stand and do your best to sing. The words will be up on the screen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light when so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red-glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. I know you guys wanted to clap after that national anthem. Let's do it. Let's do it. It was beautiful, beautiful singing. So now we have the moment of solemn expression, and normally we might bring in a pastor, normally, could be a rabbi or a priest, and sometimes I do it, but tonight we're going to have it's a special night. We're going to have the Reverend Mayor Pro Tem Manuel Chavez do our moment of solemn expression. So please bow your heads. Mayor Pro Tem, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Stevens. Thank you, God, as always, for this day of life. As we reflect and prepare for the upcoming long weekend of Memorial Day, may you please bless the souls of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country, so that folks like ourselves can be here today, listening to the people and delivering on their power through our government that allows for them to have a voice. I humbly ask you, God, that, like always, you allow us to be vessels for yourself, to allow us to be the voice that you need us to be, to highlight the things you need us to highlight, to serve those in the community that need it the most. I humbly ask in your grace over this meeting. Amen.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So now it's time to do the roll call. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Mr. Mayor, all council is present, and Councilmember Bewley is participating via Zoom. Councilmember Bewley, will you please make a statement?
Yes, I'm participating remotely in compliance with Brown Act due to contagious, and nobody is in the room here with me over 18 unless my dog's counting dog years.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Council Member. I hope you feel better. City Attorney, do you have a closed session report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session today. We will be resuming closed session after the regular meeting. Hopefully it will be short.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so tonight we have two presentations. We're celebrating the Mustangs. Let's give it up for the Mustangs. We have the baseball team and we have the girls swimming team that both had a remarkable seasons that I'll tell you about, and then we'll call their coaches up and present some certificates and give each one of them recognition, the recognition that they deserve. So then we're going to do the baseball team first, Then once they get their certificates, they're going to sit down. We're going to do the swimming team next. They're going to get their certificates. They're going to stay up here. We'll take a photo with the council. Baseball will come up, take a photo, and then all the Mustangs will take a photo together, okay? Tonight, we recognize the Costa Mesa High School baseball girls and baseball and girls swimming team. I said that already. This year, Mustangs baseball once again demonstrated tremendous talent, resilience, and teamwork, finishing the season with an impressive 21-8 overall record and capturing the outright Empire League championship with a 7-2 victory over Laguna Hills. Under the leadership of head coach Jim Kiefer, the program has now earned 3 consecutive league championships, winning the Orange Coast League in 2024, the Golden West League in 2025, and now the Empire League in 2026. This remarkable accomplishment reflects the hard work and dedication of the student athletes, coaching staff, and families who support the program. The Mustangs also represented Costa Mesa proudly in the CIF Southern Section Division II playoffs, competing against nationally respected Trinity League powerhouse, Servite High School. Although the Mustangs fell in a hard-fought 2-0 playoff contest, the team competed with heart and determination against one of Orange County's top-ranked programs. Coach Kiefer shared afterwards how proud he was of the team and their season, noting that competing at such a high level against elite competition was a significant achievement for the program. The Mustangs pitching staff continued to shine throughout the postseason, including a strong outing from Will Morales, who recorded 7 strikeouts over 6 innings in the playoff game. The team's success this season was also fueled by outstanding performances from players including Wylan Rothschafer, Grady Jackson, Ben Quintero, Felix Tiquia, and many others who contributed throughout the year. On behalf of the City Council and the entire Costa Mesa community, we congratulate the players, coaches, and families and supporters of the Costa Mesa High School baseball team on an incredible season for representing our community with pride, sportsmanship, and excellence. And now I'd like to call Coach Kiefer up to say a few words and to present the certificates to each of those wonderful players. Coach Kiefer, you have the floor.
Well, first off, I want to thank Mayor Stevens and City Council members for inviting us here tonight to acknowledge our season and all that we achieved. Thank you very much. I also want to congratulate our swim team for what their amazing accomplishment here at the CIF meet. We had a terrific season. We played at a high level the entire year. And the record reflected that, our finish in league and our showing in the playoffs. We're very proud. I can speak on behalf of our coaching staff. We're very proud of these players that I'm going to introduce. So let me call you guys up. Come on up one at a time. Vince Buffa. Strider Samara. Felix Tiquia. Luke Hobbits. Wylan Rothschafer. Grady Jackson. Parker Hilton. Ben Manchester. Hunter Wigmore. Will Morales. Aiden Quintos. Cash Fody. Ben Quintero. Noah Uribe. We had two players who were unable to attend tonight, TJ Smith and Ryan Lowry. So we could give them a. And then I want to acknowledge both assistant coaches, Timmy Richards and John Christensen, for their continued excellence. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Okay, so then, we're going to, then if you all sit down and then we'll all come up once and we'll get you guys after we get the girls. While you're sitting down, I just want to acknowledge we have a kind of a celebrity. We don't see him much in chambers. Former Mayor Peter Buffa is here. So can you wave? Wave to the adoring crowd. Once a mayor, always a mayor. Thank you for your service. Okay. All right. So now we have the Mustang girls swimming team. So I would like to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the Costa Mesa High School girls swimming team on an incredible and historic season. This year, the Mustangs captured the CIF Southern Section Division III Championship, the first CIF championship in program history for girls swimming. Competing at Mount Sac, the team delivered an exceptional performance and finished with 222 points, ahead of Westlake and Sonora, to bring home the championship plaque to Costa Mesa. Under the leadership of head coach Keith Ryan, the Mustangs have built one of the premier swimming programs in Southern California. This latest title marks the program's third CIF championship in 4 years, when combined with the boys' program's Division III title in 23 and Division II title in 24. The team's success this season was powered by incredible teamwork, determination, and depth throughout the roster. All three relay teams, the 200 medley relay, 200 freestyle relay, and 400 freestyle relay, set new school records during the championship meet. Individual highlights included Melanie Pang winning the CIF Division III championship in the 100-yard breaststroke, while Carolina Sangassi, Emma Freeland, Chloe Woolsmith, Mia Walker, Chloe Hills, Danny Pang, and Tessa Togas all contributed to record-breaking relay performances and strong individual finishes throughout the competition. What makes this accomplishment even more special is the strong sense of family and teamwork that defines this program. Many of these student athletes have trained and competed together for years, growing together both in and out of the pool while proudly representing the Costa Mesa community. On behalf of the city of Costa Mesa and the entire Costa Mesa community, we congratulate the players, coaches, families, and supporters of the Costa Mesa High School girls swimming on this historic CAF championship season, and thank them for representing our city with excellence, sportsmanship, and pride. Congratulations, girls and coaches. Now I'd like to call up Coach Ryan to deliver the certificates and say a few words. And while he's coming up here, I want to mention something, girls. So we at the city and also at the school district, I'm sure you know about this, are really focused on teaching kids and adults how to swim, you know? And if you can get involved in that, that'd be great. You could save lives, you know? What you do in swimming is a life-saving thing. And, you know, you can live your whole life and not hit a baseball. Guys, I know, I mean, I'm a baseball player. But if you get in the wrong position and you can't swim, it could be the end of things. So thank you for what you're doing and being an inspiration to everybody who's not just competing, but learning how to swim safely. Coach, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, for this honor. And again, thank you for being here, guys. You did a tremendous job. You went up against Servite. Well done, Division II. That's big. First, I just want to thank our champions, these ladies here. Many of them I've known for the last almost 10 years. Oh, awesome. Thank you. And when we submitted our roster to the city council, they reconnected because we submitted only 8 names. And I got an email back that said, I think you missed some people, but we're a pretty small and mighty program. So these are your 8 girls here that helped us win our first program title in school history. I don't think it'll be the last. The cool thing about this is that all of these girls realized this season we were not going to be the league champions. We had 15 girls on the team. We had some JV athletes and 8 varsity girls, and that's not enough to win a league title. But we had higher aspirations, and not only did they achieve it, but they surpassed my expectations, probably all of their own. Another thing that I'd like to point out is every single athlete here I've coached outside of the high school on a club that funnels through our school, CMAC. Many of these girls were 8, 9, 10 years old when I got to know them, and many of them are now emerging adults, 16, 17 years old. It's remarkable. So congratulations, girls. I'll call you up for your certificates. Well done. Emma Freeland. Chloe Hills. Danny Payne. Melanie Payne. Carolina Singasi. Tessa Tugas. Mia Walker. And Chloe Wool-Smith. These are the CIF Division III 2026 Girls Swimming Champions.
All right, council's going to come down and take photos with the team. Okay. We'll do the baseball one. Yeah. All right, good. So now the next part of the meeting is public comments. You can come in and speak on anything. You get 3 minutes to speak. You're going to hear a beep and a light on at 2 minutes, then wrap it up. You could talk about anything that's not on the agenda. So you have a pretty light agenda tonight, so you could talk about pretty much anything. We'll go to the people that are in the chambers first, and then we'll go to Zoom. And so you're all welcome to come on up. Ladies first.
All right.
Glad you're here. Thanks.
I grabbed the wrong piece of paper, though. You better come in.
All right, so much for ladies first. Jay, you've got the floor. Hold on one second. I want to make sure your mic's on. Are you good? Yeah, good.
Good evening, Council. Jay Humphrey, Costa Mesa resident. I heartily support the acknowledgement of the achievements of these fine young people tonight, and every time we do it. I think it's great that we look and give city support to people in our community who achieve notable items, notable things, and it's important. I would only ask that the council do the exact same kind of things for not only sports people, but also for academic people. I've heard multiple times that, well, the schools take care of the academic people. Well, the schools also have honors for their sports people, as do clubs and what have you. It's a shared process. And I just ask that we balance how we do these things and add, not take away from anybody, but to add academic excellence, because as we all know, we all need to make sure that our young folks, and ourselves for that matter, need to be continuously educated to best serve our communities. And that's exactly what it's all about, serving our communities. So thank you very much for honoring these folks, and look forward to your time when you start the same acknowledgement for our academic folks. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay. Okay.
Hello, my name is Betsy Densmore, and this week I want to start out by joining in celebrating our progress in getting more homeless people off Costa Mesa streets. Kudos to the Network for Homeless Solutions City team for its dedicated and compassionate work with folks who never imagined they would be unhoused. Some of them are appropriate referrals for a new program that also addresses the stresses confronting many homeowners, which I am co-leader of. It's called Home Sharing. This project is sponsored by Love Costa Mesa, and which has been addressing housing and other basic needs since 2011. It is a cornerstone of Love Costa Mesa's neighboring initiative, alongside Labors of Love, Love Costa Mesa Day, and other activities that enable residents to know and serve their neighbors personally. The home sharing program is a carefully vetted matching process, linking homeowners to home seekers who would like to share their homes in exchange for chores, companionship, and below-market rent. In 2021, the city documented the existence of 5,100 single-family homes occupied by persons over 65, many of whom are alone and less able to keep up with home maintenance. Home sharing is not a substitute for personal care services, nursing home care, or emergency housing. It is also not simply renting a room. The goal is to create a mutually beneficial relationship that lasts for many months or years. There are over 50 well-proven home sharing programs around the country. The National Shared Housing Resource Center provided templates for us for questionnaires, interview questions, and memorandums of understanding. We also do background checks to ensure safety and compatibility for all participants. We welcome your help in promoting the program and directing them to our website, lovecostamesa.org, for more information. You can also reach out to me directly. There is contact information on the handout, which you all should have received. And we are actually doing a program about the program tomorrow at the Senior Center at 1:30. Thank you for your consistent attention to making Costa Mesa a place that works for everyone. I do appreciate you all and love living here.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I do have some slides. Good evening, Mayor, council members.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Let me make sure we get your slides up before you start your 3 minutes.
Okay,
I'll tell you when we're ready.
okay.
Okay, could we give her back 2 seconds? There you go.
Thanks.
That's the best 2 seconds. Go.
I'll make it count. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the public. My name is Ayn Creation. I'm with Climate Action Campaign, a nonprofit policy watchdog, and we're here tonight because Costa Mesa families, like many others in Southern California, are being crushed by rising electricity bills. So we want to highlight an opportunity for the city to intervene. As you can see in this slide from the California Public Utility Commission's Public Advocate's Office, Edison rates have more than doubled over the last decade. That's why 1 in 5 Edison households are behind on their bills by an average of more than $830. Skyrocketing rates are not unavoidable, though, and we know this because Anaheim residents who are served by a public municipal utility pay less than half the electric rates that Edison customers pay, and that's right here in Orange County. They're saving about $2,200 per year on average over Costa Mesa residents. That tells us these rates are not about the cost of electricity. It's about how the system is structured. Edison is a government-mandated monopoly provider of an essential public good, but sadly, their #1 priority is generating profits for shareholders. Those profits come from the people in this room and anyone who pays an electric bill. The more infrastructure the company builds, the more guaranteed profits it collects from families for decades. And that's why our rates have skyrocketed. I have one more slide. But while families struggle, utility profits are soaring. In 2025, Edison became the most profitable investor-owned utility in the United States, making more than $5 billion in profit, a 200% increase in 1 year. And in April, the company reported another $619 million in Q1 profits. According to the company and to this article from Reuters, that increase was due to the higher rates paid by families in Costa Mesa and throughout Southern California. Sadly, there is no end in sight. There are currently 5 new Edison rate increases pending at the California Public Utilities Commission. So what can the city of Costa Mesa do about any of this? Well, right now there are important reforms moving through Sacramento, especially SB 905, SB 1098, and SB 886 that would help rein in excessive utility profits and spending. This is an urgent opportunity because these bills will be heard in the Assembly Energy and Utilities Committee next month in June. Edison and the other investor-owned utilities spent $30 million on lobbying and campaign contributions last year, and that's why your voice matters. A resolution from Costa Mesa supporting affordability reforms would send a strong message that protecting families from rising utility bills must be a state priority. Other cities across our region are doing this, and the impact is significant. Voters want this. In a statewide poll last week, 83% of voters said reducing electricity bills should be a top priority for lawmakers. So we respectfully ask that the council agendize and adopt a resolution supporting these reforms to stand up for Costa Mesa ratepayers. We will follow up via email with a resolution recently drafted by San Diego's city attorney, which may be a helpful model, and we are happy to be a resource on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Austin Mayu. I'm a Costa Mesa resident. This is Mason, also a Costa Mesa resident, here representing my family, my wife, Nicole. I'm here to discuss safety issues near my home due to homeless on the Santa Ana River Trail. Today, much needed repairs of the Adams Bridge have been delayed due to a homeless encampment under that bridge. My house backs up to the base of that bridge. 2 weeks ago, on May 4th, a large piece of broken asphalt from the road, I think flung up by a vehicle, came over my fence from the road, striking my house. It hit so hard that chunks of asphalt are still embedded in the stucco of my house, and I filed a report with the city and with the police. It was about a 5-pound piece of asphalt. More importantly, It flew directly over my elderly parents' head, who were in my backyard holding my 6-month-old son. If it had hit my parents, they would have been seriously injured. If it had hit Mason, he would be dead. Again, the road is in the state of repair because of the delay due to a homeless encampment under the bridge. We've let them ruin our parks, Fairview and Talbert, the Santa Ana River Trail, and now I can't even have my family safely in our own backyard. While I appreciate the work the city's done the last 2 years to help solve this crisis, it's simply not enough. There's no compassion in letting people live like this under a bridge. Outreach is no longer the answer. Their quality of life is horrible, and ours suffers too. We have a beautiful city with great parks and access to beaches, but none of those areas are currently safe for families with young children. My ask is two things. One, we need significantly more presence on the Santa Ana River Trail and enforcement of the anti-camping laws. I run or ride my bike in that area almost daily. It's still bad. It's better than it was a couple years ago, but it is still bad, and I hardly ever see any police presence there. I wouldn't send my wife and son into those areas alone on a walk or to go enjoy time in the park. The Grants Pass versus Johnson ruling and recent Orange County ordinance changes have given you the tools to move these people out of encampments and to get them the help that they need. I urge you to use those tools aggressively. Secondly, the road behind my house remains unsafe. I think road repairs were supposed to start in early April. They have yet to start. And I fear what happened could happen again with a more serious result. We got lucky. It flew right over his head and no one was injured. We have a small amount of house damage and that's it, so we got lucky. I've already put in a fence, the maximum size the city would allow. The asphalt flew over that. I don't know what else I can do to protect my family outside of moving. So please accelerate the road repairs to the best that you can and consider building a wall to protect me and my neighbors going forward.
Thanks.
And I'll share it with you over email.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, Craig.
Good evening, Mayor Stevens and Mayor Pro Tem Chavez and Council. Craig Preston, resident of Costa Mesa, and in support of what Ein mentioned about there's a chance for us to have a voice up in Sacramento. We have skyrocketing electricity costs, and I just have a few words to say here about that. Thank you. I just picked up a partner list that we have, and we can't do these things alone. So Sacramento represents the state, and we as a city have a voice in Sacramento, and so I'd like us to use it. I'm now recently retired, and so I'm on a fixed income, and so I'm looking at my electricity bill more thoroughly. And like many people, I carefully budget every month, and one of the hardest bills to keep up with lately is electricity. You may have been aware of this too, of how it's just gone up and up as Ein showed on those charts. I've recently learned that Southern California Edison had the biggest profit of any investor-owned utility in the entire country in 2025. Over $5 billion in profit, a 200% increase from the year before. I have to underscore that we are talking about billions here, not millions. People have a hard time visualizing this, but the difference between a million and a billion is staggering. A million seconds is about 11.5 days, whereas a billion seconds, drum roll, is nearly 32 years. And again, SCI made over 5 of those, $5 billion in profit last year. A lot of people don't realize that SCE is a for-profit corporation traded on the New York Stock Exchange. We as the people give them a chance to be a monopoly, but we also want them to be a regulated capitalistic monopoly. So that means they have a fiduciary duty, a legal obligation to maximize profits to their shareholders, and that's exactly what they're doing. Meanwhile, regular people like me are being asked to pay more and more every month just to keep the lights on. I'm asking the city of Costa Mesa to support the electricity affordability reforms moving through Sacramento right now. These bills will help rein in excessive utility profits and stop unnecessary utility spending that gets passed directly onto ratepayers. They would also help California prioritize cheaper, cleaner, local energy solutions like rooftop solar, batteries, and energy efficiency instead of constantly building expensive infrastructure projects that raise our bills even more. This is not a partisan issue. People on fixed incomes, working families, and small businesses are all struggling with rising electricity costs. A resolution from the Costa Mesa would send an important message that our community wants an energy system focused on affordability and accountability, not just utility profits. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Craig. Anybody on Zoom?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Phone number ending in 714, please.
714, you have the floor.
Yes, I'd like to bring to the attention of the council and to other Costa Mesa residents that Orange County Voice today mentioned that there are some evidently law enforcement that are having second jobs with the immigration. There's a bill pending in Sacramento, I believe it's AB 1537, that will prohibit law enforcement from working federal immigration and security jobs. So I'm hoping that if that bill doesn't pass in Sacramento, that Costa Mesa will consider, like Santa Ana is also considering, to do legislation to make sure that none of our officers are working and double dipping in an immigration position when they're not at their Costa Mesa police office. So I'm going to watch that and I'll update you and see what happens with that. And hopefully that bill will pass, but if not, I'm going to be on the phone again asking you to make that action legal in Costa Mesa, that they cannot double dip on law enforcement with a federal agency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake, please.
Jake, you have the floor.
Hi there. Yeah, thank you, Council and Mayor. I'm here also to support the resolutions for having our electrical companies to reduce their rates. It still doesn't make sense that these are monopolies that are able to just increase prices as much as they can. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's not even a climate issue solely. Everyone's affected by rates, especially those with lower incomes. It's a no-brainer to have the city to support such resolutions. So I encourage the city to do so. Again, this is Jake Comer, longtime resident, representing my family in Costa Mesa, as well as various friends still there. And I know, especially with the increases in price and how electricity is tied to what's going on around the world, we need to make sure that we can rail in these utilities. And most strikingly, besides the increase in prices, which we're all aware of, is the opposition. No one except for these utilities actually opposes such resolutions and reducing rates. So again, it seems like a no-brainer at this point, and I'm sure the city council will have no issues with doing so. Just want to encourage you and further, along with other friends that have spoken here, to support this resolution. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake. Good to hear from you. Who's next?
Angeli, please.
Angeli, you have the floor.
Hello there. Good afternoon. Angeli Andrade Vallarta, District 5 resident. So again, in support to Craig Preston's and Ian's comments, I am here to share how many of our local residents are concerned about the increase in the cost of living here in our city. Many of our residents do want our bodies to take action and be able to stand up and speak up for them and limit the rate hikes that our community is facing. So the package that is going through state legislation, there's about 14 bills. There's pretty straightforward. These would cap utility profits, stop utility overspending, and provide immediate relief that our community desperately needs. These bills are, again, like the previous speaker said, are a no-brainer because these bills slash excessive profit that these bodies take on, limit overspending, protects families immediately, and builds truly for a better energy system, which many of our youth that are engaged in public spaces are truly concerned of. So I appreciate and would highly support and encourage the City Council to sign on a resolution that supports these impactful bills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, please.
Jim, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for taking my comments. It's May 19th today, as we all know, which for those following the calendar is 11 days left in the school calendar for our kiddos in Newport Mesa. And summer, as we all know, is a really special time. Ride your bike all day, play at the beach. And for parents, it takes on a special meaning. We're all working, we're all trying to figure out the best way to keep our kids happy and invigorated and maybe try some new things like a swim lesson or guitar class. Uh, and that brings me back to today, May 19th. Today is the day that the city of Costa Mesa has decided to open up registration for summer classes. So that swim lesson, guitar class, art camp, whatever have you. And it's cutting it kind of close for us parents. 11 days before the kids get out. By contrast, in Huntington Beach, they opened up their summer registration on March the 3rd. And I don't know what, we did wrong or what they did right, but it seems like the Parks Department in Huntington Beach is giving their residents a lot more time to get their schedule set up and register for classes they hope to attend and so on. And speaking from personal experience, this morning was quite a doozy. We had to get our kids to school early so we could be back at a computer at 8 a.m. Just to get registered for summer classes and camps. And by the time we got our kids registered, 90 seats out of 120 had been taken for one of the camps that we hope to attend. So it's not just me, it's not just my family, but lots of working people who really want the best for their kids and want to be somewhere local and want to take on a new skill or learn something new or just play with friends in a structured environment that are kind of back to the wall at this point with about 2 weeks left in school. I'm presenting this to you now because I'm not sure if you knew about it. And I think we could do better. And I think that other cities around us do better without too much trouble. It's really quite something to think that, other cities can give their residents 2.5 months to figure out their summer vacation, and we're given 2 weeks. And since I have just a minute left, I also have been perusing the catalog and noticed that children aren't going to be able to run in Fairview Park this summer. And that's really disappointing because the Happy Feet Running Club has been a perennial favorite. It's a free club for kids who just want to be out in nature and stretch their legs. And the venue was so good at Fairview Park. Such a good setting to run on soft dirt, have some pretty killer hills, and enjoy the outdoors. There's even a picture of kids running in Fairview Park in the spring catalog, or I should say summer catalog, which we got in the mail. But it won't be held there. And it's disappointing. I wanted to bring this to you because as parents and as citizens, we're doing the best we can. And I feel like our local government could do better. So we're going to keep thinking and hoping and voting.
Thanks, Jim.
No further speakers.
Okay, closed public comment. We're going to go to council member committee reports, comments, and suggestions. First up from District 6, Councilmember Jeff Pettis.
Thank you, Mayor Stevens. Appreciate it. First of all, I think his gentleman's name was Austin, who spoke about the piece of the roadway flying over his fence. Not going to get into too much finger pointing, but I'm assuming we're looking at that, Raja. We're going to make sure that's a pretty disturbing story there. Hopefully we can get that encampment cleared out and that street fixed. Sounds like a serious issue. Costa Mesa Fire Rescue Fire Ops 101. Thank you very much to Costa Mesa Fire for hosting us that were there for that. It was quite an experience. I'm reminded of, as a leader at the VA, we're a teaching hospital, so we have large groups of nurses that come through, and I have to assign out teaching preceptors to each person. And once in a while, I get an eye roll or whatever from the guy that I'm assigning it to, or girl. And I'm assuming that before going to this thing, I'm like, wow, you know what? Pyle's making a bunch of people do this. They're going to hate that we're coming. It's going to be a big pain. But I talked to Chief Pyle the other day, and he convinced me. He said all the fire folks that signed up were there voluntarily, and I can attest to the fact that they were 100% engaged, and I learned a lot. And a special thank you to Captain Mark Geiger, who was my subject matter expert. He was an awesome ambassador for everything you guys do. Arliss and I cut a car in half. There's pictures somewhere showing that. It was a great day. I thought I was pretty much going to be there to have to babysit Bewley and make sure he didn't stroke out in the heat or anything, but he held up fine. So thank you very much, Chief Pyle. That was very worthwhile. event. And in Love Costa Mesa Day, it was just awesome to see that. I saw the social media blitz, and everybody knows that I'm a fan of the arts and making our city look prettier. So there was a lot to be proud of on that front. A couple of the nonprofits out there. I do have a couple questions. These will be statements or questions disguised as statements. But as far as my research, we don't have a written process ensuring. I know this is a decision that we don't have to bring this before council, but I'm pretty sure that the way it works is that the request goes to Public Works, and it's approved or not. And I'm just wondering if we have a written practice, or should we have a written practice ensuring all council members exactly what's going to be going down with the actual projects themselves. Because we vote, we debate endlessly things up here on a much smaller level, like, this tree goes over there or not, or this curb needs to be that high. These are pretty big pieces of art out on a public right of way, and I would have liked the chance to, it was bright and some people love the design. Maybe there are others that wouldn't have been big fans of the design, so it would have been good to be able to have a conversation in public about that. And when an outside organization proposes or partners with us on a project in the public right of way, is there a standard intake process, and is the same process available to other citizens or community groups? And the last thing I'm going to ask about is I wrote down a note here on traffic safety. I just looked it up, and it says Section 35.03 of the current 11th edition MUCD assigns the city responsible for ensuring aesthetic treatments don't interfere, detract from, or obscure traffic controls or devices. I'm just wondering if all those things were looked at, traffic mitigation, prior to this deal. And was the paint coating, I had a bunch of questions from the community on whether or not this is going to hold up aesthetically. Is it going to be slippery? Is this going to impede views? All those are questions I'm sure there's answers to, and I'm not saying that they weren't done, but I would like to have kind of known that ahead of time. And lastly, I was wondering if the Arts Commission had been asked about their input on these projects. Because from what I can tell, the arts so far, I mean, I know I've been here in a year and a half, but we've been we haven't been able to get much done. A lot's been done, but when we talk about public-facing art, it's been a kind of a long slog. And what they have been trying to do, these nonprofits were able to get done relatively rapidly. I know the process started earlier, but application, approval, bang, we have what they call street art. I saw on somebody referred to it. So my question would be, would it make sense for the Arts Commission to apply to be a 501c? And that might be able to get things going. So thank you very much.
Thanks, council member. Okay, next up we have Councilmember Bewley, who's on remote. Councilmember Bewley, you got the floor.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
You guys want to see my face? Those of you who get to see my face on screen out there?
We miss it. We miss it very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the public. I'll see if I can get through this here. First off, had I known that the Costa Mesa Mustangs baseball guys were showing up tonight, I think I would have shown up there and taken the risk of getting all of you sick. My kid came up with a lot of those boys. And I'll admit I kind of cheated. I think Wyland Rotshaver's dad keeps them up on Game Changer, and I got to watch that Servite game, and I got to watch Will Morales pitch lights out, and Felix Taquia, and Grady Jackson, and I mean just all those kids. And not only did they have a great run in high school, they kind of helped put Costa Mesa on the map, going all the way back to D62 Tournament of Champions and Pony baseball. They made it, I think, 1 out away from going to the national championship, and just a great group of kids. And 3 or 4 of those guys are going on to play college ball. So, man, I'm a little bummed that I missed meeting tonight just for that. But enough said on that. Equal shout out on the Fire Rescue 101. Yeah, I got to tell you, it was amazing. I was kind of excited to do it just because I always like to check off new and interesting things on my bucket list. And So I went over there to be just kind of excited to do it. But I tell you, I walked away with just a great appreciation for what our fire department guys do. And just doing 10, 15-minute spurts with all that gear on and trying to lift the jaws of life and lug a hose around or whatever. Councilmember Pettis wasn't kidding. I was gassed. And, I can't imagine doing that with oxygen tank and the whole deal. But their professionalism, seeing how meticulous they are. Yeah, it was just really appreciative, and shout out to Captain Martinez, who is my handler for the day. I know I had talked a couple of weeks back. I was going to give a report on my adventures at SCAG. It really was a good trip out there. I'll maybe report a little more later. I went to an AI panel that was interesting. I went to a transportation panel that talked about a lot of the logistics that we're going to see here in the 2026 World Cup, getting people from stadiums in LA down to stadiums in San Diego for some of those games. They're going to use it as kind of a test run for the 2028 Olympics that are coming. And just a lot of interesting stuff, and it was good to get out there and continue my education on a lot of these different associations and organizations that coordinate government. And last thing, I'd be remiss if I did a shout out to my daughter, Natalie. She just graduated last weekend from San Diego State with her business degree. And yeah, I missed a lot of the We Love Costa Mesa activities. I was down there in San Diego last Friday through Sunday, and maybe that's where I picked up this bug. But anyways, with that, I will go back to mute and listen to you guys do city business. And if I hear anything that I need to chime in on, you know I will.
Yeah, please do. I mean, sometimes we forget the person on Zoom, so just assert yourself. Okay, next up from District 2 is Councilmember Lauren Gameros.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a couple of things I'd like to speak about this evening, and I will be brief. The first thing I want to talk about is our homelessness situation. This is something really important to me. The homeless center is actually in my district, and I try my best to be involved with the services regarding that, and I know we have great leadership amongst staff as far as taking care of the unhoused. It's a crucial part of our community, and one of the things that I remember when this came about, I heard a lot of people say, if you build a homeless shelter, you're going to invite homeless people to want to come into your city. And I can tell you right now, factually, that's not true. This is a survey that was done very recently. 422 people were surveyed in the Santa Ana River by Anaheim Stadium. 5 of them out of 422 said, yeah, I came from Costa Mesa. That's 1.6% of the unhoused people that were surveyed in one location, pretty much representing a good chunk of Orange County, said they came from Costa Mesa. So what I want to say is the service that we provide does not reflect an invitation for the homeless or unhoused to come and reside in our city because of it. It reflects due diligence and the fact that we care about people. I want to instill that in everyone. Homeless people need to have homes and they need to be cared for. The second thing I want to remind everybody of, Memorial Day. I just want to tell a brief story about something that I got to do, and I'm really glad that I got to do it. When my son was young, he was a Boy Scout, and we got to have a VIP tour in San Diego on an aircraft carrier. I'll never forget trying to sleep inside of this aircraft carrier. It was like 10 pounds of potato going into a 5-pound sack. It was probably one of the most difficult nights of sleep I've ever had, and to think that somebody could do that for months, if not years, end over end, has my utmost respect. And I learned something on that ship the very next day. I learned that freedom is never free. Remember that this Memorial Day. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next up is someone who's also spent time on an aircraft carrier.
I did.
Councilmember Lieutenant Andrea Marr.
2 years sleeping on an aircraft carrier. And I had a jet fuel pipe that went right by my head, so that was cool. And Councilmember Bewley, thank you for actually not being here and getting us sick. I'm about to go on vacation. That would have been really bad timing. Fire Ops 101 was super fun, incredibly professional. A few folks have talked about it already. I think my takeaway was just a new appreciation for the continuous training that those folks go through. Think about, every regulation change that happens on the national, state, and county level. New technologies come about, new medications, new dosages for medications, not to mention new tools. And so, yeah, just a whole new appreciation for how much work they spend being proficient in all of those things and recognizing that change happens very quickly as well. Additionally, want to recognize that we've got folks out on the Sandy Fire right now, and so they are putting all of that good training to work at the moment. Attended walk and roll to school day at College Park. That was really fun. Some of you might have seen the videos, hundreds of kids on bikes, and some walking very fast to keep up with the bikes. So we might need to go back to splitting those. But yeah, I had a great time in College Park. Thanks to everyone from city staff, in addition to some very invested parents who pulled that together. Love Costa Mesa Day. I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend, but it looked like an overwhelming success. The thing that you were referring to, Councilmember Pettis, is actually in my district. It is on my daily dog walk, and so I am very glad to have some art at that corner. And then last but not least, the skate park groundbreaking. So officially in the process of more than doubling the size of our existing skate park, making it more accessible to kids, adding a pump track. And one of the coolest parts is that we are not closing the current skate park as we expand it, so it will stay open for use, with the exception of a couple of days in which we, pull down the fence between the two, for example, and do some refurbishment on, I think, the bowl right now. But yeah, great progress. Similarly, Tewinkle Lakes, I know a number of people have asked me about it. We are in the process of pouring the liner for the lake, and so that's like, I think Raja just nodded me if I'm getting this right, but I think we're almost to the end of that project. Ish. Of the first lake. Yeah. All right. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next up from District 5, Councilmember Arlos Reynolds.
Yeah, thanks. I'll echo what we've heard about Love Costa Mesa Day. It's, I think the first time I participated in that, I tried to go to all of the projects in my district and realized that was just impossible. There's so many things happening. And it's just so really fun, of course, to participate in the day, but then for the next few days, just see these photos pop up of people participating in projects all over the city. It really is a special day. So thank you to all of the staff involved in that. And of course, the team at Trellis, and then all of the residents who serve as project leaders and then show up on that day as volunteers. Also echo gratitude on the fire ops. I was also sort of reluctant to participate and got kind of cajoled into it, and I'm so glad I did. Really fun day, learned a lot, of course, and agree, a new appreciation for the continuous training and the range of skills that our team has to be aware of and prepared in all of the time. I also recently participated in a ride-along with our PD, but a unique ride-along I rode with our biking unit. So I've done the patrol ride-along. This time the biking ride-along was just a whole new perspective on the city, and I want to thank the team that took me on that ride-along as well. Encourage other council members to do that kind of ride-along. Public Works team, it's Public Works Week. Thank you to the team for welcoming me to the Courtyard yesterday. I had been there once before, but learned so much again. All of the work that happens in that space. A couple of key takeaways was just really appreciating the creativity of the team there in problem solving. One thing I don't think we realized, or I certainly hadn't realized, is as our equipment ages so much, oftentimes replacement parts just don't exist anymore. And so the team, we can't just go out and buy new equipment. They actually have to figure out how to either make parts or be really creative in sourcing materials to maintain fire engines, parks, lighting, poles. It was really fun to see the creativity and really the pride in the work in interacting with the team down there. I have said multiple times at this dais that Public Works needs a hype man. And I say it sort of jokingly, but I'm very, very serious about it. The stories I heard of the work that people are doing every day, I think are stories that our public would really appreciate. So I'm requesting that we send Matt down there and just tell some of the stories of the graffiti team, the streets team, the sign making team, the team making plaques, memorial plaques for the park, all of the maintaining engines, our street sweeper. I really think the public would appreciate hearing those stories as well, because this is the infrastructure that they're interacting with every day. Okay, so yay, Public Works, thank you for all you do. On the public comment on bills related to energy affordability, I am very interested in that. That's something that I know many people are affected by. I'm stunned by the data of, I think it was 1 in 5 people behind on their bills. I know there's a lot of work in Sacramento on this issue. Our assembly person is involved in this issue as well. So I would request that our legislative team review all bills related to energy affordability and bring a draft resolution in support of energy affordability. A couple more things. I today participated in sort of a mini conference with Sustain SoCal and Urban Agriculture. It was really, really interesting and a lot related to what we're doing here in Costa Mesa. I'm going to share my notes with our new sustainability manager, but just a couple takeaways. One thing that they shared is that cities can be doing is actually encouraging the planting of fruit trees, both in our public spaces, but also as part of development projects. There's a lot of, they talked about a lot of new interest in Orange County, existing, but also new interest in Orange County on urban gardens, which of course piqued my interest because I know that's been a big topic of discussion with our Parks Commission. And they talked about some new models and some new programs looking at underutilized spaces, whether municipal or private. So I'll share some contacts on that. That was a great series of talks and tour. Tomorrow, I'm participating in the Ride of Silence bike ride. A lot of the Bike Month activity has been very fun and joyous and playful. Tomorrow's ride is I think it's actually an international event called the Ride of Silence. There's going to be rides across the country. Specifically to honor those bike riders who have been killed on our roads and raise awareness about road safety. So if you're want to participate in that event, that's leaving from Lions Park tomorrow, Wednesday evening at I think 6:15 or 6:30 p.m. I was looking at the locations where we have had fatalities, bike fatalities in the city. And reading the stories, they range from 12 years old to, I think, 68 years old. But at 3 of the 4 locations where there have been fatalities in the last 10 years, I think, I was proud to realize that we have either completed or have planned a road safety project touching those locations. So I think that's another good testament to the work we're doing on road safety in Costa Mesa. Last comment, my council colleague here made a comment on the traffic calming project from Love Costa Mesa Day, and it kind of piqued my interest. I really like the idea of formalizing a neighborhood traffic calming program. I think we have more than 200 requests for traffic calming projects. Every time someone posts about a traffic calming project we've done in one neighborhood, I see dozens of comments saying, hey, I want to do that in my neighborhood too. We know there's high demand for traffic calming and street safety measures across the city. So a program where residents can request those and there's a streamlined review and opportunities even for volunteer implementation, I think is a fantastic idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Next is our Mayor Pro Tem, and he's from District 4, Manuel Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor Stevens. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And as always, thank you to the students who are here getting your homework done before it's due and the semester. I appreciate you. 4 quick things, just to move things along. First of all, staff, if we can follow up on the resident that spoke from Adams Street. I'm not sure if it's a county jurisdiction or our jurisdiction, but whatever we can do to help mitigate that concern, I would really appreciate it. I, too, will talk about the Fire Ops 101. It was an amazing experience to see and learn from our firefighters. What work they do to keep us safe in Costa Mesa. I was with firefighter Kyle Brumson, and again, congrats to his family for being born last week. But it was really cool seeing what they do. It was really fascinating seeing that most of the calls our fire department takes are actually medical calls. And to experience and learn the level of detail they go to provide the quality service for our residents is really remarkable. So thank you for the fire department for doing that for us. It makes me feel way more comfortable and confident in their ability to serve our community in Costa Mesa. And yeah, job well done. Third, I want to congratulate all the schools, students that are getting scholarships. So this last week, we saw Les Miller Awards from Chamber of Commerce, got our students in our district, and we saw Save Our Youth give scholarships out yesterday. It is always remarkable for me to see the investment that we put into our students in Costa Mesa. Every one of those students is going to be our pride and joy as they go out in the world, and I know they'll do great things wherever they go. So shout out to them, all those students that got scholarships these past 2 weeks. And finally, a big invite for everyone in the community. May 27th at 4 p.m. will be the Shalimar Park groundbreaking. Please join me, Mayor Stevens, and Councilmember Dave Min, who helped fund the project for the transformative park experience. This has been a long time coming for Shalimar. We had over a year of community engagement. The community got almost everything they wanted. We're combining a basketball court with a soccer court with a handball, getting new equipment. It's gonna be a great experience for the community. So again, join us on May 27th, 4 p.m. I'll be there, Mayor Stevens will be there, and Dave Min will be there for Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Great comments. So for my part, I've got a number of things to cover. Regarding Memorial Day, every year we have a really beautiful ceremony by the Freedom Committee at Harbor Lawn in Mount Olive, right there on Geisler. It's at 11 o'clock. Anybody who wants to attend, that's on Monday, the 25th. I don't think I'll be there this year, unfortunately, because I'm going to be out of town, but everybody should go to that and remember the people that have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. With respect to our homeless efforts, well, we've got Nate Robbins here. We're going to hear from him later. I've got a lot of gratitude to him and his whole team and everybody, all the volunteers. We just got our point-in-time count a couple days ago, and this is really remarkable. We cut in the last 2 years our homeless point-in-time count by 2/3. I'm going to say that again, 2/3. Now, this is not just Mr. Robbins and his team, but the PD, everybody working together as a team, and also what the council does in terms of authorizing and budgeting this effort. And Councilmember Gameros is exactly right, and these numbers prove the point. In 2024, our point-in-time count was 297, and now it's 136. And 70 of those are in our shelter. That's remarkable. And really this team, and I'm going to probably allude to it many times, but when it really all started when we did our, we had a Network for Homeless Solutions beforehand, but when this team raised our green paddles and we moved forward with the temporary shelter, that's when it all kind of snapped together. And it's just an amazing thing, and I'm very proud of that work. With respect to Austin's issue on the Adams Bridge, yes, please, let's look into that. I'm not 100% know where the jurisdiction is, but he's quite right. We have the tools and we have the ability and we have the funding to address those issues, and we should. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. As the Mayor Pro Tem said, we had the Les Miller Awards last week. It was put on by the Chamber of Commerce. It's a beautiful event. We recognize all of the students at our local high schools and Vanguard and OCC who have done really remarkable things and are going to great schools and have done a lot of community service during their time in our community, going to school, and their parents and administrators and teachers and everybody is there, and the Les Miller family. So it's quite an event, and it was fun to attend. Same with Love Costa Mesa Day. Love Costa Mesa Day was amazing this year. Councilmember Reynolds is right. You just simply can't get around to everything, not even in one district. I spent a lot of time in District 4 and District 5. There were some great events there, and then we had a fun lunch, and it was a good event. So thank you to Love Costa Mesa Day for that. And as I think it was Councilmember Marr mentioned in her district, the skate park groundbreaking. It's a long time coming. Thank you to Supervisor Foley for helping us out with the funding, and our Public Works team for doing a remarkable job getting us to this point. And I look forward to the ribbon cutting of that. And, we have this thing about plaques, who's going to get on the plaque. And I was just glad I lived long enough to get on the groundbreaking part of the plaque, right? I won't be there for the ribbon cutting, but I know it'll be wonderful. I'll be alive. I'll be alive. I'll be alive, but I won't be on the plaque. I'll probably come to it. You know what? If it works out in my schedule, I'll come to it. But somebody else will have to cut the ribbon. Anyway, where was I? Oh, big event happening. I'm sure you've all read about it. It's all over Facebook. There's a lot of it's quite viral. On Thursday at Dick Church's, you can get there at 5. It ends at 9. Singing begins at about 6:30. The first sing along with the mayor that we've ever had in the city of Costa Mesa. I've curated a list of 100 sing-along songs. Trust me, I'm not going to sing all those songs. Y'all are going to sing them. It's going to be really fun. And it supports a nonprofit, Love Costa Mesa. So please come and support that. You'll have fun, trust me. And if nobody shows up, it'll be really cringy. Please come. And then finally, on kind of a somber note, we recognize and are going to adjourn the meeting for 2 really remarkable women who left a lasting impact on not only their families and their communities and our community, but countless individuals throughout Orange County and specifically in Costa Mesa. They are Judy Ware and Karen Orsini. First, with respect to Judy Ware, we honor her life, and she passed away on May 4th at the age of 77. Judy was a trailblazer in the solid waste and recycling industry and co-founded Ware Disposal alongside her beloved husband, Ben. Under her leadership, the company grew from 2 small trucks into one of Southern California's leading waste and recycling companies, serving communities across Los Angeles, Orange, and San Diego counties. Ware Disposal has been a longtime partner with the city of Costa Mesa, providing solid waste collection services for various city facilities and serving as one of the city's franchise waste haulers for more than 35 years. At a time when few women held executive leadership roles in the industry, Judy distinguished herself as a respected pioneer, leader, and role model. Her leadership and environmental stewardship left a meaningful impact on the community she served and will be greatly missed. Beyond her professional accomplishments, she was deeply devoted to her family and cherished her role as a wife, mother, grandmother, and matriarch. Her legacy, leadership, and innovation and commitment to service will long be remembered by all who knew her. So we are going to honor her memory and in our when we adjourn the meeting today. Also, Karen Orsini, we're going to adjourn the memory in her honor and memory as well. Karen passed away on April 24th at the age of 86. Karen was a devoted wife, mother, grandmother, community volunteer, and faithful servant to others. Alongside her husband, Fran, Karen built a life rooted in family, faith, and service. After settling in Costa Mesa in 1965, She dedicated herself to supporting children and families through organizations such as the CCAP and her church community, while also serving on local boards and mentoring countless young people throughout the community. Karen was known for her kindness, generosity, and ability to make everyone feel welcomed and loved. Her warmth, compassion, and unwavering commitment to others touched many lives and created a legacy that will continue through the family and community she so deeply cared for. On behalf of the city of Costa Mesa, we extend our heartfelt condolences to the Ware and Orsini families, their friends, and all whose lives were touched by Judy and Karen, and may they both rest in peace. And I just want to acknowledge that Karen's daughter Laura and son John are here in the audience, and thank you very much for being here. And we're going to miss her, and we're going to miss Fran, and we're very, very grateful. And all these kids have benefited from your family and continue to benefit from your family, and so thank you, and our deepest condolences. So thank you very much. Particularly, I'd say, for her work on the Costa Mesa Foundation. Jeff Harlan told me, he said, when he first started to get into community service in Costa Mesa, somebody said, well, you should go out to breakfast with Karen Orsini. And he said, by the time breakfast was over, he was on the board of the Costa Mesa Foundation. And then, of course, he became a council member and is now the chairman of our planning commission. So that's one of, I'm sure, dozens, if not hundreds, of stories of people that are in leadership positions because of her influence. So thank you. Okay, with that, we'll go on to the city manager report. Cecilia Gallardo-Daly, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. A few things to update you on tonight. First, we're seeking the public's input and comments on the draft environmental impact report, or EIR, for the Fairview Developmental Center specific plan. The draft EIR became available on May 14th and will be accessible for a minimum of 45 days. We are soliciting comments on the environmental document, so we will take any comments in writing to the city no later than 5 p.m. on July 1st, and the draft document can be accessed on the city's website. All comments must be submitted in writing via email or regular mail to our principal planner, Melinda Dacey, here at City Hall, or via email at melinda.dacey@costamesaca.gov. Next, the city is entering its third and final round of the Neighborhoods Where We All Belong initiative, which is a comprehensive effort to plan for the development of new high-quality housing. Residents, businesses, and community groups are invited to review and comment on the draft zoning and general plan documents that are available from May 18th through June 15th, and are also available on the city's website at www.costamesaneighborhoods.com or by emailing neighborhoods@costamesaca.gov. Annual weed trimming and mowing activities are underway at Fairview and Canyon Parks. The City Council and the public have inquired about our fire prevention efforts at Fairview and Canyon Parks, and I wanted to give you all an update on that. The city's maintenance contractor recently completed the first cycle of the city's annual cutting of fire-prone weeds in those parks. Due to the heavy winter rains and abundant growth that occurred in early 2026, the city prioritized mowing these areas to take extra precautions before the summer season. The city's vegetation management programs target invasive and non-invasive vegetation within the park to reduce their spread. Prior to mowing activities, the city coordinates with the city's biologists to survey the work areas in order to protect sensitive biological resources, including nesting birds and native plant species. And finally, each month, the city manager presents an award to a city employee who has exhibited exemplary leadership. For May, I presented the award to senior planner Michelle Halligan. Michelle began working for the city in 2019 as a contract planner processing cannabis permits. So Michelle is our cannabis expert for a number of years until we took her on as a city employee full-time. Over the last 2 years, Michelle has been the project manager for various key planning efforts, including implementation of the city's housing element, managing the Neighborhoods Where We All Belong effort to rezone the city's housing element, and Measure K sites, and supporting the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. Michelle has spearheaded outreach for these efforts, including branding, maximizing our social media and CMTV assets, and hosting several pop-up events across the city. When the city received a letter from the state requesting a faster pathway for housing element certification, Michelle quickly jumped in to help pivot and set a new schedule for rezoning these sites. She met the state's timeline, and we've got the rezoning approved by the City Council this past March. In her free time, Michelle is the mother of twins and is also the Orange Coast Mothers of Multiple Babies board member and the Friends of CASA Holiday Lunch Committee member. And she's raised over $700,000 a year for the foster care program in Orange County. Michelle, thank you for your dedication to Costa Mesa, and I'd like to invite Michelle to take a photo with us if we can do that. Okay, thanks.
All right. Okay, so now, City Attorney Hall Barlow, do you have a report?
Just very quickly, Mr. Mayor, first I want to congratulate my daughter Brianne Dyer, who will be graduating from Orange Coast College with her dental technician certificate on Friday. And also, as we move into Memorial Day, I know many people visit cemeteries, place flags on graves of veterans, and it's a wonderful and honorable thing to do. As we remember those lost serving their country, let us remember those who were truly lost and never able to be returned to their families to be buried. Just recently celebrated the 63rd anniversary of the loss of the nuclear submarine, the Thresher. And those 200 men never got to come home. So they're not the only ones. There are many heroes of American wars who died and were never returned home. So let us remember all of them as we're remembering the war dead. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, so now we're onto the consent calendar. These items are going to be voted on in one motion. They're considered to be routine unless somebody pulls an item.
No, Mr. Mayor, nobody has pulled.
Nobody has pulled an item. So I'll entertain a motion for the entire consent calendar.
Move consent.
Well,
Oh, right.
Do you mind? So, Councilmember Reynolds is going to move. How about that? And Councilmember Marr seconds. Is that good?
That sounds good.
Okay, good. Then let's call for the question
Wait,
by voice vote.
Oh, that way it's blocked.
So it's all right. We've got it on the record.
Right here. This-
You ready for the voice vote?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Councilmember Pettis.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Councilmember Reynolds. Councilmember Bewley.
Yes.
Councilmember Gameros.
Other than the recusal for Priceless Pets, yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Marr.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Yes.
Mayor Stevens.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to note the recusal. Okay. So that brings us to, we got no public hearings, no old business items. So now we're up to new business item number 1. Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
This agreement for unleaded fuel services with Merrimack Petroleum Incorporated. Staff presentation by Mr. Seth Rahman, Public Works Director.
Mr. Mayor,
Director, you've got the floor.
Mr. Mayor, we'll have Patrick Bauer.
Mr. Bauer, you have the floor.
He's finding the presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and City Council. My name is Patrick Bauer. I'm the Deputy Public Works Director, and what we have for you this evening is for your consideration an award of an agreement for our unleaded fuel services for the city from Merrimack Petroleum. A little background, Public Works maintains a total of 12 storage tanks for fuel throughout the city, along with lubricants, hazardous waste at the following locations. Fire stations 1, 2, a temporary one at 3, but I'm proud to say we're under construction for the permanent above-ground storage tank at 3. Stations 5 and 6, along with the police department, our emergency communications center, City Hall, and the City Corporation Yard. We also have 10 emergency generators located at various sites and 1 portable emergency generator that require fuel. Current agreement for fuel delivery services we utilize a cooperative agreement that expires this June 30th and is non-renewable. Our procurement process, we're utilizing the County of Orange's co-op agreement currently with Merrimack Petroleum for the procurement of our unleaded fuel. The county's cooperative agreement has proven to be an effective means of purchasing fuel over the last few years and ensures that the city receives the best possible prices. Staff recommendations are to approve the agreement with Merrimack Petroleum for the purchase and delivery of unleaded fuel in an annual amount of $700,000. Based upon pricing provided through the cooperative agreement with the County of Orange for a term of 5 years, commencing on July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2031, unless otherwise terminated by the County of Orange. Also authorize the city manager and the city clerk to execute the agreement and future authorized amendments to the agreement. Staff's available for any questions, should you have them.
Any questions, council? Councilmember Marr?
Thanks. We got a good comment from the public asking about volume discounts. How much do we have to buy to qualify for those? Do we even have enough storage to be in the ballpark? What are your thoughts?
That is a good question. Currently, we're at, I don't know where we would have the facilities to store unless we did some above ground fuel depot somewhere, but I don't know if that would be a feasible option.
Yeah, spend $500,000 to save $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Along with permitting and yeah.
Do you know what the threshold is, though, where we'd start getting volume discounts?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I could get you the details.
Councilmember Moore, through the cooperative agreement, we are actually part of the bulk purchase process. So county negotiated that agreement, so we are kind of getting that volume discount through that process.
It's still a pretty hefty increase from the last time we did this, though, right?
Yeah, the fuel prices did go up in that manner too. So if it tracks the overall wholesale price of the fuel.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Council? Councilmember Reynolds?
Yeah, I wanted to share maybe some data that staff pulled for us, trying to find it in my notes here, because I was curious how the current cost increases might affect, gas cost increases might affect this. But you shared that in last year, am I getting these years right? It was more than $600,000 that we spent in basically the last two previous years, right? So it's not a huge increase in compared to previous years. What I was interested in is, we've encouraged fleet electrification and purchase of electric and hybrid vehicles for multiple benefits, but one of them, hopefully a reduction in fuel costs. And I'm curious what data we have, or you can sort of give us to show what that relationship is as the number of, or sort of proportion of our fleet that is electric and hybrid. I assume that as that's going up, our fuel costs should be going down. What can you share with us today? And that's something I'd be interested in additional follow-up going forward.
Yes, Councilmember Reynolds, yeah, we are procuring more and more electric and hybrid electric vehicles wherever it's possible, wherever it's feasible. I think Patrick can correct me, but 2 years ago, we probably had 15 or so of those vehicles, and now we have 50, almost 49. So of the fleet of approximately 250 or so total vehicles, so we have 20%, I think, at this point, which are electric or hybrid. So, and in the future purchases too. So, the typical the white fleet that staff uses here at the city hall, we are trying to convert them into electric, and wherever feasible, go hybrid or electric. So.
Okay. Yeah, and this may be a note for our, again, new sustainability, 2-day-old sustainability manager in the back. I would love to see by the end of the year a sort of specific sort of plan. It doesn't have to be a 100% commitment, but a plan for the fleet electrification based on some of those cost-saving opportunities as well. I know oftentimes it's a higher capital cost for the new vehicle, but pretty compelling savings over the lifetime of a vehicle. So it'd be great to see that as we're looking at current year and then future years' budgets as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Okay, if not, we'll hear from the public on this item. Anybody? Nobody in the chambers? Anybody on Zoom?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Close public comment. I'm looking for a motion, except, yeah, okay.
Move to approve the item.
Okay, Councilmember Marr is going to made the motion to accept the staff recommendation.
Yes.
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Chavez. Do you have anything to say about the motion?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see this number go down, right? We should be using less fuel overall. I think we've done a good job of greening our fleet. To Councilmember Reynolds' point, like city vehicles that don't really leave the city are the perfect application for electrification. Hopefully we're seeing less maintenance costs and other things as well. So it'd be good to see this number go down over time. That being said, I fully recognize that we've got plenty of vehicles and plenty of use cases where we're not able to electrify. So finding that balance that's in the best interest of the city and the most cost effective, I think, should be the goal. Thank you.
Thanks. Does the second have anything to add?
No.
Does any other council members want to be heard? No? Okay, let's call for the question.
Councilmember Gameros?
Yes.
Councilmember Mar?
Yes.
Councilmember Reynolds? Councilmember Pettis? Councilmember Bewley?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yes.
Mayor Stevens?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, let's go on to our next item, which is not new business item number 2, which is removed, right?
Correct.
So we're going to new business item number 3.
Yes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
Professional Services Agreement to provide shelter operations at the Costa Mesa Bridge Shelter. Presentation by Mr. Robbins, Neighborhood Improvement Manager.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Mayor, members of council, the item before you now is the agreement with Volunteers of America Los Angeles for shelter operations at the Bridge Shelter. As you all know, back in April of 2021, so we just celebrated the 5th year anniversary of the opening of the Costa Mesa Bridge Shelter, the permanent one at least. When it opened, Mercy House was the shelter operator. The shelter's come a long way. It's done a really good job, but over the past 5 years, we've added and augmented the system of care to fill every gap and create a safety net that nobody can fall through. We're very, very proud of this facility. Some of the services that we include on site are housing navigation, so helping people discover which housing option is best for them and then doing the groundwork to pursue that option. Document readiness, the people that we serve don't have their vital documents like birth certificates, social security cards, driver's licenses, the things that we take for granted, we help them get those. Financial assistance for housing deposits and furniture is one of the newer services that we've added. We're very proud of that. Primary, dental, and behavioral health care, also very, very new services that we've offered that we've never had before, including we have Thursdays are our therapy days, really, really good for our clients. We connect folks to detox and residential rehab facilities. We help folks get jobs through workforce development and employment readiness. And of course, we help them increase their income through public benefit assistance. The shelter operator agreement with Mercy House expires on June 30th of this year. So in February of this year, the city released RFP 2614 seeking proposals for shelter operations at the Bridge Shelter. As a result, the city received 3 proposals from different vendors, of course. One of them was Volunteers of America Los Angeles, or VOALA, as I'll call them for most of the presentation. Mercy House Living Centers, or Mercy House, and then last but not least, Homeless Intervention Services Orange County, or HIS OC as they're known. A panel of 3 raters scored the proposals as follows. I won't go through the numbers, but just note that VOALA got the top score, Mercy House was ranked 2nd, and HIS OC was ranked 3rd. About a year and a half ago, the city changed the way that we do services at the shelter, and that now we have city employees doing all the case management. As far as I know, we're the only shelter around that does that, and it has significantly increased the level of service that we provide at our shelter. So this new contract will be everything regarding operations minus case management. Again, we have city employees doing that. An example, well, really, the 4 categories of responsibilities for the shelter operator are logistics. So, of course, we do the laundry for all the clients, assistance in the kitchen with the kitchen operator, Bracken's Kitchen, the amazing provider in Bracken's. They help with the guest intakes and exits, mostly for the belongings, as city staff do the actual intake as far as the client goes. And then they staff a concierge desk, which is open during normal business hours to help out guests with anything they need. Of course, janitorial, daily ongoing cleaning of the entire campus, as well as nightly deep cleaning of the bathrooms and high traffic areas. There's 24/7 security on site. There's 1 guard at the gate at all times, and then a rover that's roving the entire campus 24 hours a day. And then transportation, there's a shuttle that drops off and picks up people around Costa Mesa throughout the day. The shelter operator is also responsible for that. So I do want to highlight that all 3 proposals did a good job of outlining the scope of work that I just went over. So they all submitted proposals that covered all 4 of those categories well. VOALA, however, had a proposal that outshined the other two. So I'm going to go over some of the highlights from VOALA's proposal that were lacking in the other two. VOALA utilizes a universal training model where staff are trained to perform all duties listed in the scope of work. The way it is now and the way the other two proposers submitted was that staff would be trained for specific purposes. So if somebody that's assigned to janitorial were to call out, there's nobody else on staff that could just step in and do that. So it creates some issues with call-outs. It creates issues with attrition if people were just to kind of walk away from their position. Now, these other organizations would take a week or two to bring someone else on. VOALA trains all of their staff to do everything in the shelter. This also eliminates the "that's not my job" mentality. If you're in janitorial and you walk by an empty plate of food, you know you have to pick it up. If you're not, it's not your job, so you walk right by it. VOALA does not work like that. Everybody does everything. They're all in to operate the shelter to its highest potential. The next thing is that VOALA is authorized to provide community supports and enhanced care management, or CS and ECM. Those acronyms may not mean much to you, but it's one of the things that I'm most proud about the shelter in recent days is that we brought those services to our people. Community supports provides supplemental housing navigation. It provides $5,000 in deposit assistance and furniture purchases. And most importantly, it follows the client up for up to 6 months after they get housed. Up until we had CS at the shelter, this was not being done other than some occasional drop-ins. Now this is a mandate for all clients that get housed, again, get followed by a case manager for up to 6 months to make sure that they're stabilized and doing well. ECM, as I've mentioned before, imagine if you had a sick parent and you were in charge of all their hospital appointments and specialty appointments. An ECM case manager ensures that their clients get to all these appointments, that all these appointments are made. They communicate with the different doctors and facilities and just help people get well. Right now, we farm these out to outside providers. So we have 2 outside providers that come in. One provides CS, the other one provides ECM. The current shelter provider does not provide either of these services. His OC offers CS, but not ECM. VOALA offers both. So it gives us an opportunity to consolidate these services for the in-house shelter operator rather than having outside agencies come in to provide these services. Thirdly, VOA currently serves unhoused Costa Mesa residents who are disabled through their HDAP program. HDAP stands for Homeless Disability and Advocacy Program. Essentially, if someone's unhoused and they're disabled and they're not yet enrolled in SSDI or Social Security Disability Insurance, the HDAP program helps walk them through that process and increase their income. It's a much, much needed program at the shelter, and it's not currently offered. And VOALA also does a really good job outreaching and serving veterans. We don't have either of these services at the shelter currently. VOALA will provide those in-house. And then lastly, which was super impressive, VOALA provides regular program oversight via their evaluation and quality assurance department. I'll just say that Mercy House and his OC don't provide this additional benefit. It's going to be really great to have someone within VOALA, but an outside party come in and just audit everything to make sure all the forms are good, all the processes align with the Orange County Standards of Care for emergency shelters, and that we're just operating at our highest potential. So really good service provided by VOALA there. So as far as the budget goes, the city's current cost to operate the bridge shelter is $2,383,180 annually, of course. The budgets submitted by the proposers are as follows. I won't go over every number, but you can see that his OC came in with the lowest bid, but one important note is they didn't have any indirect or admin costs. So I believe that's where that reduction comes from. VOALA came in with the second lowest bid at just over $2 million, and Mercy House came in with the highest bid at $2.4 million and change. Some notes for those prices. Of course, VOALA's proposed budget is $316,000 per year less than our current contract. If you all vote to approve the contract and they go the full 5 years, that's $1.5 million over 5 years that the city would save with VOALA. His OC's budget was, again, $400,000 cheaper than current, but they didn't include admin or indirect. And Mercy House's proposed budget is $17,513 more than what they're currently charging. And it's $333,000 and change more than VOALA's proposed budget. So on to some experience and capacity comparisons. VOALA was founded in the 1800s, which was crazy to me when I heard that. That's an amazing run of successes for them. Mercy House was founded in 1990, and his OC was 1989. VOALA has over 2,000 employees. Mercy House has over 800, and his OC is a lot tinier with just roughly 50 employees. Annual gross receipts for VOALA is $1.4 billion a year. Mercy House is $66 million, and his OC is $1.5 million. VOALA currently operates 17 shelters across LA and Orange County. Mercy House operates 7 across Central and Southern California. They have some up in Ventura County by Bakersfield and that. And then his OC operates 1 shelter, but they have a bunch of transitional housing projects that they run in North Orange County. Noteworthy, so VOALA operates the Central Cities Navigation Center. It's one of the newest emergency shelters in Orange County in Garden Grove. My team and I visited that shelter, and it's very, very similar to the Bridge shelter, very similar. It was just built, ours was just built, the way it's laid out, the way that they operate. So VOALA, in my mind, proves that they can operate a shelter almost identical to the one that we have. Mercy House locally operates the 164-bed Huntington Beach shelter and the 150-bed Buena Park shelter. And then his OC operates the 50-bed Family Care Center in Orange. They just actually purchased that facility, and they provide the services there. And then lastly, at the request of the council, we made sure that VOA has the ability to reduce their staffing and certain programmatic costs should the council choose to reduce the maximum capacity of the shelter. However, I do want to point out that while that sounds intriguing, because it's a 24/7 operation, there's a minimum, right? You have to have 2 security guards, you have to have a shuttle driver, you have to have, so the reduction in staff, even if we reduce the beds from say 100 to 15, would be minimal. And the savings on a yearly basis would be roughly $134,000 a year. Now that's just shelter operations. We would of course have kitchen operations there too. So just to kind of throw that around, just so you can kind of see what that would look like. So with all that said, staff recommends that the City Council approve the professional services agreement with Volunteers of America Los Angeles to provide shelter operations at the Costa Mesa Bridge Shelter for a period of 3 years with the option for 2 additional 1-year periods upon mutual written agreement of both parties in an amount not to exceed $2,066,864. And secondly, to authorize the city manager and city clerk to execute all agreements and any amendments to the agreements, including any potential increases to the annual compensation that is based on an increase to VOALA's employee salaries. This increase shall not exceed 5%. That's the end of my presentation. I can answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nate. Good job.
Yeah.
Councilmember Pettis.
Hey, great presentation, Nate. Thanks. Question on the VOA and the VOLA and the veterans. So when you talked about them having abilities to serve, I know, would that be they know how to make contacts with our HUD-VASH at the VA as well as medical services? They have expertise in that, or is there something above and beyond the veteran piece?
Yeah, the VA, and as you know, more than probably anybody in this room, the VA has done a really good job over the past 5 years of really kind of tightening things up. So there's not a ton that needs to be done to support veterans, but it's just about connections, knowing the right people, knowing the different programs that are available for veterans. They do a lot of veteran outreach, so they're among veterans more often. And then again, just the connection and linkages to services that are really important.
Great. No, that's exactly right. I was going to say that a lot of times these guys are choosing not to go for VA, but so they might be reticent to even identify being a veteran sometimes. But that's cool to hear this. So a lot of it's just about the outreach and making sure you're hands-on out there. Okay,
yes, sir.
Cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? I just have a couple real quick questions. Can you go to number 5, please? Slide number 5. Yeah. 5, right. So it's you're an awesome presenter, and you've done wonderful work, so thank you. I honor all that work and your skill in presenting. I've got a question, though, about 5. So the part I don't understand is, so we took back the caseworker service from Mercy House, and then we put out an RFP for the operations, right? And the thing that's confusing me was the scope of the RFP, was it for operations, meaning basically the same as Mercy House was providing? And because here's the thing that's confusing me is, and I'm not questioning any of the data or anything you presented, but it looks to me like you're saying we like VOALA because they're providing these services above and beyond the operation that's being provided by Mercy House. And I'm like, well, what did we ask for in our RFP? And is that, you know, is there redundancy? You know, why are we getting all this information about caseworker service when the RFP was for operations?
Yes, sir. So 2 things. It's a indirect benefit of having VOA. The RFP specifically asked for the proposers to introduce innovative ways to augment the shelter system of care. So they all had an opportunity to list the various things that they're experts at and they could bring to the table. We've been with Mercy House for 5 years, and none of this stuff was available through Mercy House. So we had to go out and find it on our own. So the RFP included the ability for them to provide this information. The reason why we had to go outside to find outside agencies was because Mercy House didn't provide it. It just gives us an opportunity to consolidate all those services, because VOA provides them on a daily basis at all their other shelters anyway, which, you know, reduces confusion among the guests because it's one provider providing all these additional services. Had Mercy House had these services available, we likely would have had them provide them. The city of Costa Mesa can't provide these additional services, so we have to get it from somewhere. I guess we don't have to. We want to because it's better for our clients. So because we can't do it ourselves, we had to find outside providers that would do so. Just makes more sense to have the in-house shelter operator provide the services.
So let me see if I understand it then. The status quo is we're providing all these services, but what is happening is Mercy House is doing the operations aspect. We're doing the caseworker aspect up until the time that we can't do the services, and then we go out to different resources for these services that can now be provided kind of in a one-stop shopping from VOLA, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. My other question, can you go to slide number 6, please? Okay. I can understand what staffing cost means, but what does program cost mean? And the reason why I'm asking you this question, just to be transparent, is if program costs means something like what we were just talking about, I'm trying to understand why Mercy House would be $574 and the others, I mean, VOLA is the lowest. So is program cost what we were just discussing, these programs that are brought to bear, or is it something entirely? Am I misunderstanding the graph?
Yes, sir. That's a good question. It's something different. All the services that I just spoke about are reimbursable. So VOALA has these programs that they do the services, then they request reimbursement. So they're paid by another entity, not the city, for the additional services that we talked about. Program costs, it'll make more sense if I go to the scope of work. So imagine program costs being laundry detergent, bedding,
I see.
Snacks, right?
Got it.
Those types of things. So the things that Mercy House would have to purchase for the clients to keep the shelter kind of running outside of services and kitchen are program costs.
I got it. Okay, now can you go back to 5?
6?
No, 5.
5.
Okay, 5. No, 5. Okay, this is one we were exploring, and you said, I want that I used to call it voila, VOLA is superior because they provide all these additional services. Are you saying, based on what you just told me a second ago, that we're going to have to pay extra money for those services?
No, sir. So
They're included in the bid?
the services that are listed on this page are reimbursed from an outside source that's not the city. The state of California, CalOptima, various agencies provide these reimbursement funds to agencies that will administer the programs to the clients on behalf of the funder. So CalOptima doesn't provide it themselves. They have agencies that provide the services that submit reimbursements to CalOptima that pay the agencies who provide the services. That's the connections that we've made as a city with amazing partners to augment our system. It would just really help to consolidate all of that into one vendor, which is VOALA, because they provide everything that we're doing anyway.
Right. So it's not going to cost any more money to have VOLA provide those services. We're already getting those services. And so it sounds like the only, but we're getting it from vendors other than Mercy House. It's getting reimbursed by the state or CalOptima or whatever. And the only distinction with these points that you're making is we would have one point of contact as opposed to multiple points of contact to provide the services, correct?
Yes, sir. Except for the third and fourth bullet points, we don't have any of that happening at the shelter as we speak. So HDAP, veteran services other than what my team are able to gather up, and then there's no, audits, evaluation, quality assurance done currently. So those are brand new services that we don't offer. The top two are, I guess the top one's also something that's not happening with the universal training. So it's really just that second one, the CS and ECM, that we currently have at the shelter, but it's two outside providers rather than the in-house provider of VOALA.
Okay. So we currently, I think the first bullet is not really germane to the point I'm getting to. I understand that first bullet, though. But the third one, so we don't provide currently any services for the disabled or veterans?
We do, but it's not a specific program. The HDAP program has a direct connection to Social Security. It's a streamlined pathway for unhoused folks with disabilities to get SSDI, which is massively important for them to get into housing. You can't get into housing without income. And so that's a huge one. And then, of course, the veteran outreach and services.
Okay. And the quality assurance department, that's kind of similar. That's not an outside service. That's similar to bullet number one. It's just a different methodology that they have that, in your opinion, improves the level of service.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for answering my questions. Any other Councilmember Reynolds?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and for answering questions by email earlier. Can you, I know some of this, this shelter operator cost and other costs is ultimately offset by partners that we work with, right? So we've got, I want to hear from you, sort of a reminder of what like additional income we get to help offset the costs of our shelter operations. We've got the 15-bed behavioral health bed contract.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, sort of evolving, but our shelter partners. So can you just sort of confirm the approximate amounts and let us know if there's other income that offsets this?
Yes, of course. So the city received it was $4.8 million. It's gone up to $5.2 million grant from the Orange County Healthcare Agency to add those 15 behavioral health beds, which allowed us to go from 85 to our max capacity of 100. Possible reimbursements of $972,000 a year through that program. So those 15 beds are 100% funded. Not only the beds and the services and the furniture and the connections to detox, but the case manager, one of the 4 case managers is fully funded by that county grant. So that's about $1 million a year. The city, of course, received almost $1 million from our Assemblywoman Cotty Petrie Norris to mirror those 15 BHBH beds, but with state behavioral health money. So we have 30 total beds, behavioral health beds. That money doesn't go so much to offset the city's budget as it doesn't pay for case management, but it does pay for the furniture and housing deposits and client services that those folks need to move into permanent housing. And then we have our 2 city contracts. We have a contract with Newport Beach. They, of course, have 20 exclusive beds. They pay the city roughly $100,000 a month for those 20 beds. They also have access to up to 5 per diem beds at $163 a day. So if they go to 21 or 22 beds, we're charging them per day for those additional beds. And then the Irvine contract is only per diem. They've had as many as 8 people in the shelter at one time. They currently have 5, which brings in roughly $25,000 a month to the city through Irvine. So those are really the 4 sources of revenue that the shelter brings in. We did have some other grants that have since gone away. And of course, we're always looking for new funding sources.
Yeah. Okay, great. So those are pretty significant numbers in terms of offsetting or supplementing the total cost of this operation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Well done.
Thank you.
Can you remind us, and I know that you just talked through some of the way the 100 beds are sort of assigned in different areas. Where are we in typical, like total utilization of the beds? I couldn't find my numbers from the last conversation, but I thought I remember that we're not typically at full capacity, at least in recent months.
That's right. So over the past 12 months, we've averaged about 70 guests in the shelter, which is lower than we've been in a while. We were up around 80 or 90 before that, and then it dropped to 70, and it was stable at 70 for almost a year. With the addition of Irvine and some great work by my outreach team, we broke 80, and we're pretty steady at between 80 and 85 right now, which is great because you don't necessarily want to be at 100. There's some negative impacts of being full. Of course, there's more people and more issues, but also if you're full, then people that want to get into the shelter off the street have to wait. Right. And if someone has a moment of clarity for 30 minutes and you miss that window, it could take years or months or years before they want to come back. So we're at about 80 to 85 currently, which is really good for us.
And how does this shelter operator contract, how would this work in terms of the ratcheting up and down based on utilization? I recall the food contract, like they go up and down on a daily basis, literally based on meals served. But I'm assuming this is less flexible. So if we're at 80 now and maybe your target is 85, is it a monthly kind of resetting of the contract, or how does it work in terms of getting the savings if we're not actually going to have 100 beds filled?
So you're right. As you mentioned, the Bracken's contract is very, very flexible. They just need a 2-week lead time. Right now, they're currently cooking for 90 people per meal, so 90 breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Their minimum is 70. So at any time, we could go down to 70, and they could keep their current staff, and it would just reduce our cost, which is $13.50 per person per day. So if they're cooking 90 and they go down to 20, I don't have a calendar, but it would be a significant, almost immediate decrease. The problem with the shelter operator, although it is somewhat flexible, they can't be going back and forth constantly. Whereas with Bracken's, we could tell them every 2 weeks to go up and down and up and down. This would need to be a more permanent decision, a policy decision by the council to reduce the maximum capacity of the shelter from 100 to say 85. That would be permanent, at least for the foreseeable future. So we don't really have the ability to go, well, let's go to 80 next month, but then let's go back up to 90 the month after. It would need to be, again, a very high-level policy change. And in that instance, we could notify VOALA that we're having a reduction. They would reduce their staff proportionally, but not below minimums. And the biggest savings is the programmatic costs. They're not buying as many snacks. They're not doing as much laundry. They're not putting as much fuel in the shuttle. So that's where we see the most significant savings. Again, we have the director of housing here, which he's going to speak in a little bit, but he mentioned they could maybe reduce 2 or 3 staff if we went from 100 to 85. So like from 28 to like 25 staff. So you're not going to see a huge decrease there, but again, the programmatic costs would go down significantly.
Yeah, okay, that's really helpful. I think what I'm understanding from your response is it's not really what is our actual utilization or average, it's what we're setting the max at, right? So you're gonna provide a shelter that can reach a capacity of this during the next 6 months or the next year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's helpful, thank you.
Any other questions from the council? If
I
not,
have a couple from.
oh yeah,
on high.
Councilmember Bewley, you've got the floor.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfectly.
Just a couple questions. Again, Nate, great presentation. You kind of are thorough as always, and you answered 90% of my questions. And you answered actually one of them prior that I learned during the presentation. I was curious about how well established VOALA is. Well, since they've been around since 1890, I guess they're pretty well established. The only real question I've got is this 5% potential increase or max potential increase on salaries. Have you well, my first question is, what's the term of this contract we're contemplating entering into? It's a 3-year?
Yes, sir. So 3 guaranteed years with 2 optional 1-year extensions.
And what's the number of staff or salaries that we could be impacted by this max 5%?
Again, I don't have a calculator on me, but VOALA's staffing costs is just over $1.6 million a year. So.
Well, that's across all of their services? That wouldn't be just in relation to the shelter, would it?
No, it is. That's their, as you know, with every budget, the vast majority is payroll. So $1.613 million of VOALA's proposed budget is staffing.
Okay. Did we do any look to see year over year what's their typical salary increase? You know, we're in the throes of negotiating with some of our bargaining units, and it seems there's a typical year over year COLA adjustment minimum. Have we looked at all to see what's the annual year over year that they typically experience?
Yes, sir. I asked Mr. Richardson, who's again going to speak in a moment, that exact question, and he told me that VOALA has not increased their staffing costs at any of their shelters for the past 2 years. They've moved money around internally. They have not had to increase any contracts by any percentage over the past 2 years. And he's confident that in the current environment that they would at least be able to go a little bit without having to. It was more of a safety net. We've had to negotiate some increases. As you all know, we've had to bring increases to you, the council. And so just to work in something that would allow the city manager to make that decision without having to come back. But again, max 5%.
Okay, so, and I don't have my calculator either, but let's
It's
say max
$80,000.
5%.
It's $80,000.
Pardon me?
It's $80,000.
Oh, so 80,000 it would across that entire million in current salaries. If we applied it across, you're talking 80,000.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, then yeah, it's not even close to the savings we're experiencing here. Okay, those were my primary concerns, and again, great presentation. I mean, it was very thorough, and yeah, thanks, Nate.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else from the council before we open it up to the public? Okay, let's hear from the public comment.
I'm Eric Richardson, the Director of Housing for VOALA. I apologise for VOALA. It comes out as WALA and many other things, but it is Volunteers of America LA, so I do apologise. Most people pronounce it in many different ways. Really, it's just to introduce myself, to say thanks to the council members and the mayor for looking over the presentation that Nate's done and looking at how we can deliver the programme. Just a few things. One of the main things is for me, when we call VOALA, we have been in Orange County for 10 years now. One of our biggest programmes is the Veterans Programme. I know one of the council members was asking about that. That's our supporting services for veterans and their families. We're the largest provider of that in Orange County. So we work very closely with the VA. We deliver outreach. There was a surge event that was led by the VA that we were part of, and we helped lead that. and I'm the chair of the Housing for Veterans across Orange County. I'm the chair of that group as well. So we have lots of links with the veterans in that service. We do the HVAC program, which we mentioned, which is funded by the county. SSVF is funded by the VA, because I know there were some questions about where the other funding comes from. So it's about bringing those extra services into the shelter to provide a little bit more service to the individuals that are there. We also have a prevention program, and we deliver outreach to individuals at the same time. So we have a few programs. And lastly, just to talk about the Central Cities Navigation Centre in Garden Grove. Nate mentioned that. I'm happy, more than happy, if any of the council members or the mayor would like to come and look round at that shelter to see one that we're already running and see how that works. By all means, please get in touch. We can arrange that so you could actually come and look around that shelter as well and meet the team and see what we're doing there. Very proud of that shelter. And lastly, really, I just wanted to say that just all credit to everybody here. The shelter you have in Costa Mesa is a fantastic resource. We run, as it says, 17 plus shelters, and we look at many others because we work in outreach across the programs, and the one you have in Costa Mesa is one of the highest standards that I've seen. So it's a credit to Costa Mesa for that shelter. So I just wanted to hand that over, really, because I think there's an awareness for you guys, just so you know that that's there. And obviously I'll leave my card and anything else. If should anybody want any more questions or information, I can do that. Just one more thing in my last 30 seconds. We do try and do increases on a yearly basis for our staff. It's not that we're doing it any other reason than, unfortunately, we're at a state at presently with funding that's coming on programs that we have to ensure that we meet the budgetary needs that we have across all our programs. I know there's lots of non-profits, lots of charities that are facing that same increase. But we do hope to always make sure have some sort of increase for the teams. It's just not been available for the last few years. And I think it's 27 staff altogether, because I think that was one of the other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Anyone else? No one from the chambers. Anybody on Zoom?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Close public comment. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the staff recommendation.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Marr, seconded by Councilmember Reynolds. You wish to be heard on the motion?
I don't think I have anything to add after the excellent presentation.
Councilmember Reynolds? You want to be heard, Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yeah, first of all, thank you to staff for this wonderful work. Thank you to VOA LA. I think you'll be a great provider for our city. I don't know if I'll be voting yes yet, not because you're not a good person, not because you're not a good program, just because I have a lot of fondness for Mercy House. When we first approached this project of doing homeless services, we turned to Mercy House, and alongside of them, we went on this journey. The journey involved putting a shelter in District 5, a street over from District 4. It involved a promise of improving a community that was suffering from a lot of homeless individuals in the community surrounding area. And throughout that journey, we have grown with them to solve this epidemic. I cannot dispute any of your good work, but in my heart of hearts, I do not feel comfortable supporting anyone other than Mercy House, because they were there for us when it was the hardest. So I actually will make a substitute motion to see if anyone will join me on this, but I actually want to award the contract to Mercy House for their past work with City of Costa Mesa and being our first partner as we tackle this big issue.
All right, that doesn't get a second. But I do want to be heard on this, because, and I do appreciate the motion. I was close to seconding it. I came into this, of course, with an open mind, and with many of the same things that you said. And I was prepared to say I can't vote against Mercy House for a lot of the reasons that have already been expressed by Mayor Pro Tem. But I have to say, Mercy House in general and Larry Haynes in particular have really got us to the point where we are right now from nothing, right? I mean, for me personally, it's like, gosh, I didn't know anything about the issue. Larry was like my sensei. He taught me about what needed to be done in terms of helping the homeless, how we can solve the problem, we can think big. Huge inspiration to me and has become a friend over the years. Mercy House, and he was one of the architects that kind of explained to us how we should do this program. And when we moved forward with it in 2018 with no expectation of even being the operator, he was there for the community and explaining that, again, we can do this, we can solve this problem, and here's how we could do it. And then, you know, I mean, I know nobody's perfect, and I'm sure there have been some bumps along the road, but I just said earlier, I mean, you know, we've now gotten to the point where we've got 136 people that are homeless. Many of them are in our shelter, 85 of them in our shelter. And that's an extraordinary achievement compared to where we were 10 years ago when I first, or even, God, 15, 14 years ago, when I first started to talk to Larry about this issue. So I have deep appreciation for the work that they're doing on the one hand. On the other hand, the same goes for our city staff, particularly Nate. You have a high level of trust in your judgment. You've made a compelling presentation, and then we're in budget season, but no matter what season, I can't ignore the difference in the bidding, and I can't justify spending more money on a vendor when our staff, who we trust, and has made a recommendation that we go with another vendor. I just don't think that that's responsible. So as much as I appreciate your motion, as much as I appreciate Mercy House, I'm going to vote with the Councilmember Marr's motion. Anybody else? Yes. Councilmember Gameros.
So Nate, I do want to thank you. Not only was your presentation very thorough and excellent, but the manner in which you present the material and you answer everybody's questions. I had questions, but they all seemed to kind of get answered and asked. One of the things I want to say about looking at this on paper, face value, the lowest bidder isn't always the best person to choose. And one of the reasons behind that, we don't actually know what services are going to look like when they actually come out. What I want to say is I have a lot of faith in you, Nate, and I have a lot of faith in our staff to oversee this. I do want to make sure that VOA knows something going into this, and remember this as I vote. Good work isn't cheap. Cheap work is not good. I hope you can provide a service that reflects good work. That's all I have.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, I think we're ready to call for the question.
Councilmember Marr? Yes. Councilmember Reynolds? Yes. Councilmember Pettis?
Yes.
Councilmember Gameros?
Yes.
Councilmember Bewley?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
No.
Mayor Stevens?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1 with Mayor Pro Tem Chavez voting no.
Okay, thank you very much for your votes. Great presentation. And thank you for your great work, Mercy House, and welcome to Costa Mesa VOLA. Okay, now we're on to our last item, which is new business item number 4, a receive and file item, but you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is update on SB 707 and adopt the council policy for disruption of telephonic or internet service during city council meetings. I will be doing this presentation tonight. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Okay. Thank you. SB 707 requires us to bring this forth for your consideration tonight. It amends the Brown Act to expand public participation and accessibility at City Council meetings. It also updates provisions related to teleconferencing, including requirements for remote participation, accessibility, and procedures for addressing disruptions to meetings. And SB 707 requires City Council to adopt the technology disruption policy. The City Council must provide hybrid meetings now through a two-way telephonic or audiovisual platform. The policy must address procedures for responding to disruptions of internet service during the meeting and efforts to restore that service. The city has willingly utilized Zoom for its meetings since 2020, which satisfies these requirements, including the provision of closed captioning, which is offered in multiple languages, and we will continue using Zoom for meetings as this is now mandatory. What is interesting, when this legislation was being considered, we were surprised by how many cities had discontinued remote participation after the pandemic. In contrast, we not only maintain Zoom access for City Council meetings, but also continued offering it for commission meetings, demonstrating that we have been ahead of the curve in this area. SB 707 also requires the city to formally adopt a policy that outlines how to restore any hybrid meeting broadcast disruptions that prevent the public from virtually attending and participating in a meeting. It must, the policy states we recess open session for a minimum of 1 hour, and we make good faith efforts to restore public access, the internet access. And during this time, closed session may continue if permitted by law. The City Council can reconvene if 1 hour has passed or service has been restored, whichever occurs first. Also, there's a new portion of the Brown Act if there is disruptive conduct. This bill allows City Council or its presiding officer to remove or limit participation from individuals engaging in disruptive behavior, regardless of whether the individual is attending in person or via Zoom. The City Council must provide warning before removal unless the behavior constitutes use of force or true threat of force. This codifies what many agencies like us have been doing during remote meetings, but clarifies the legal authority to do so. And the proposed policy incorporates these requirements and establishes the procedures to ensure transparency and continuity of the meetings in the event of a technological disruption during a City Council meeting. Public participation and outreach. New requirement requires outreach to increase participation, including to underrepresented and non-English speaking communities. The city has actively been engaging community groups and accessibility practices for several years prior to having this effort mandated, including community partnerships established prior to SB 707, language requests managed and coordinated through the city clerk's office, dedicated Spanish language webpage that we launched in January 2024, accessibility participation, information for public meetings, public comment instructions included in all City Council agendas, and Spanish language meeting and workshops conducted citywide. The city has actively engaged various community organizations as listed and groups for several years prior to SB 707 mandates. In addition, the city has proactively conducted workshops and outreach meetings and provided Spanish interpretation or meetings in Spanish. And the city will continue expanding outreach and accessible public participation opportunities citywide. Language access and interpretation. SB 707 requires translation of agendas and a public information webpage into applicable languages. Staff has reviewed the criteria, and based on the criteria, Costa Mesa meets the 20% threshold required for Spanish. Since 2024, the city has provided Spanish interpreters at all City Council meetings. In addition, City Council has allotted 5 minutes to members of the public providing Spanish to English public comments. This is in place of the regular 3 minutes. Okay, the city clerk also, additionally, the city must provide space for the public near the official agenda posting boards outside for additional translated agendas. This is for the public to be able to translate agendas themselves. And so we have made space available outside for that. SB 707 revises and expands the teleconferencing options available to the council and commissions to participate remotely. There's 4 different areas now. The traditional teleconferencing, there's expanded remote participation for council members or commissioners with disabilities. The teleconference meetings permissible during proclaimed emergencies, and the just cause teleconferencing provisions have been added. And that's for like last minute illnesses or things like that. ADA and accessibility compliance. All our content posted to the city's website, including city council meeting videos, must be properly structured and tagged to ensure compatibility with screen reading software for individuals with visual impairments. To ensure compliance, the city procured new equipment essential to operate Costa Mesa TV and the live streaming of these city council meetings. The bonus is this new equipment includes software for Spanish translation capability. Our existing equipment, which I kind of call the nucleus of the Costa Mesa TV equipment, had exceeded its expected lifestyle by approximately 2 years and posed a significant risk of failure, which replacement was necessary for this, not only to maintain uninterrupted Costa Mesa TV operations, but to be able to connect to the new software and equipment needed to meet SB 707 and ADA requirements. Additional 707 updates. It removed the sunset date for AB 992 social media restrictions. Basically, it still prohibits members from directly responding to another member's posts on matters within the body's jurisdiction on social media. Expands executive compensation reporting to include department heads and similar administrative officers. And it just requires the city clerk to provide copies of the Brown Act to new members. Staff recommends the City Council receive and file the informational update regarding SB 707 and adopt the council policy for disruption of telephonic or internet service during City Council meetings. This concludes the report. I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any questions from council? No, doesn't look like it. Anybody wish to speak from the chambers? I don't think we have anybody who's not getting paid for being here. It was maybe one person, 1 or 2 people, 3 people. Okay, so that's good. Anybody on Zoom?
Yes, phone number ending in 714.
714, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would just like to comment, as we said before, when you have the Spanish translation, you have the public commenter that's speaking in Spanish, and you have the translator who's taking the notes. I think you should consider, for fairness for the speaker, to have simultaneous translation as they do in depositions and in court. So when her time is up, everything she said has been put out there for everyone to hear. Now, sometimes she'll have her 3 minutes to speak, but the translator doesn't have enough time to catch up with what she's spoken. So again, I think simultaneous is the only way to be fair to our Spanish speakers. Thank you.
Okay.
No further speakers.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move the item.
Okay, I'll second.
Yeah, thank you, staff, for this receiving and file. Like mentioned by the last speaker, I think some of these things would be really good for our community, and it's nice to have an actual step-by-step thing to do if you're ever disrupted by a technical difficulty. I remember one time during COVID, I could not vote on a firework item. They literally cut out at the worst possible time, and there was a lot of confusion about whether I could or could not vote. So this is very helpful.
Thanks. Good comments. I've never seen simultaneous translation in any of my depositions or in court, so maybe I'm getting the wrong translators. All right. Anything else? Let's call for the question.
Thank
Oh, I gave a second.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry.
Councilmember Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilmember Pettis?
Yes.
Councilmember Gameros?
Yes.
Councilmember Mar?
Yes.
Councilmember Bewley?
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, Councilmember Bewley is signed off. Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yes.
Mayor Stevens?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
What's that? Okay, so we don't have any more business items, and so I want to adjourn the meeting in honor and memory of Judy Ware and Karen Ursini. May they rest in peace.
Mr. Mayor, we're going to be resuming closed session.
Yeah, we're resuming closed session.